I've made a few videos on how to write a song without playing an instrument, and I've tried to kind of switch it up every time, but I think some of the best ways that you can go about learning an instrument are through learning how to play without an instrument. So I think DAWs are a really great way to start. And even before you work with a DAW, there are so many fun things on the internet, like where you can loop your own voice, that sort of thing, I think is really fun. So creating things that are like a cappella arrangements, I think can be great. I think you can also do things like Google Chrome Lab, I think is just a blast. They have a thing called the Song Maker, which is all just organized. It's a major scale, but it's organized in colors. So, C is red and D is orange. And then you're able to basically just create these little mini 4-bar soundscapes where you can just use your visual intuition to kind of write stuff, which I think is super useful. And I've used it a lot with my young little tiny students, but I've also used it a lot with grown-up students. And what I tend to do is use that sort of program and then just download the MIDI file and put it into a DAW. So I think that sort of thing can be great as well. As far as DAWs go, I think soundtrap.com is one that I've used over and over and over because it's nice and collaborative, and you're able to use it on the internet rather than downloading something. But I also think that GarageBand is also great, and I use Logic personally. So lots of great things you can try.
Yeah, and especially something that's online like that you can just,
Yeah.
if you're looking for ideas, you can just fire up a web page and then
Oh, for
throw some
sure.
things in. And then even what you were talking about with what was the Google one called?
Google Chrome Lab.
Chrome Lab. So something like that, it sounds like it would be cool. Like even if you don't keep what's there, like what's in Google, you
Right.
can write sing a melody on top of it, and then strip out from the Google stuff, and then maybe
Right.
rewrite some chords underneath. So it's like endless kind of
Yeah.
possibilities.
Absolutely. And I would also say that there's nothing wrong with being a lyric writer either. I know that I got my start with writing lyrics and then I picked up the guitar when I was 14. So all of those years of my childhood were just me singing into those little plastic microphones. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. Writing melodies and writing lyrics, all of it, I think it's all this big, beautiful songwriting bubble. And no matter where you enter that bubble, you're still finding a way into it. So,
Yeah, that's actually a good point because a lot of people are just lyricists, and I get emails from people like that a lot of times. But
totally.
it's if you think about writing in this way where you don't necessarily need to play an instrument, then those same lyricists can start to become like top line writers and write melodies also,
Absolutely.
just by thinking outside the box a little bit if they're just willing to
Right.
learn a few things about melody writing. And you don't necessarily, I think, have to have like a deep dive into music theory or anything to come up with good
Yeah.
melodies. Some of them are super simple.
Right. And honestly, I think there are things online where they're like chord progression generators and things. So you can totally just find 4-bar loops and then create whatever you feel like creating on top of those sorts of 4-bar loops. So I think there's always an entry point, honestly. And I think even if you don't play an instrument, it's never too late to play an instrument.
Mm.
Also, is the other thing. You can pick up piano at age 103 and you'll still be able to figure it out and you'll still be able to do it. I always think of piano as just a bunch of buttons. It's like playing the buttons in an elevator.
Yeah.
Just playing buttons. So the more of those buttons you learn and the more you learn about where those buttons fall along the piano and how to make those buttons sound good, I think you just get better and better as you go. But really just think of it like really fancy button playing, and it
Right.
becomes a lot less intimidating.
Before we move on, I just wanted to let you know that the full version of this interview is in our membership site, which you can learn more about by tapping the little I on the upper right-hand side of the screen. And I've also got a link for it below this video. Also in that little I and below the video as well, I've got a couple of free songwriting cheat sheets for you, so you can grab those there as well. Yeah, and I think actually, I think piano, if you don't know an instrument and you're looking for somewhere to start, instrument wise,
Yeah.
to write songs. I feel like piano is such a good one because it's so directly related to music theory with the way the white keys and the black keys are
Yeah,
separated and everything. But not
totally.
only that, but it's also tied into like using a DAW. Like there's a
Yeah,
piano roll on a DAW that shows the piano on one side of the screen, and then you're lining things up that way. You could play any instrument as if it were a piano. So, you know.
Right. And if you don't play any piano, you can get started on the piano so easily. All you have to do is thumb, middle finger, pinky, and then play every other white note, and then just move that same shape around, and you can create any, you know, progression in C major that you're looking for. And I started with guitar, so I think of things in a very shape-based way. So
Right.
a lot of the way that I kind of perceive the piano is also shape-based, because I didn't learn the piano until I was in my 20s. So it is one of those things where, you know, I had this foundational knowledge that was missing some steps, and I think the piano was able to fill those steps in for me. So I think piano is a fantastic place to start if you're looking to get started with an instrument.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And then, you know, one other thing that you mentioned in that video about writing without an instrument, if like even this like piano talk and everything is too scary for someone who's just a lyricist or just writing melodies.
Right.
What I thought was great was you talked about you could write to like a rhythm, like even just kind of like, you know,
Totally.
tapping on the desk or something, and then like that could be enough for you to just spur ideas that way. So I think you gave us a lot of great stuff to think about. Thank you for taking the time. Where should people go to you know, learn more about you or check out your tips and all that kind of stuff?
You can check out my YouTube channel, April Keys, Keez, April like the month. And my my website is aprilkeys.com, and you can find any of my music on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, any of the places. And my record that I came out with is called Mountain View. So that's where you can find me.
So I hope you found that information useful. If you'd like a lot more ways to improve your songwriting, I've got a couple of free cheat sheets for you that you can download by tapping on the screen here. Also, if you have not yet subscribed to this YouTube channel to stay updated on our latest songwriting videos, you can tap our logo on the screen for that. And there's also a link on this screen where you can hear the song that I played for you in this video and the song that you're hearing right now. So thank you for checking this one out. I'll talk to you in the next one.